Onegaishimasu. Hello, everyone. This morning, we are addressing the third of Tohei Sensei's 13 Rules for Instructors. And I will read it to you here. There is no conflict in the absolute universe. Conflict only occurs in the relative world. Winning by fighting is a relative victory. Winning without fighting is an absolute victory. A relative victory will always be lost eventually. We should train to commit ourselves to the principle of non-dissension. Be happy to throw and be happy to be thrown. We will see remarkable progress in our practice if we train the correct principle by supporting each other. Many years ago, back in the early 1960s, when our teacher Shinichi Suzuki Sensei was training in Japan with Morihei Ueshiba Sensei, Sensei, the original founder of Aikido. Sensei asked him to help him by mixing the ink, the sumi, for calligraphy that he wanted to do. So Sensei made the calligraphy, presented it to Suzuki Sensei and said, "This is my teaching." 30 years ago, Suzuki Sensei presented that same calligraphy to me. And to this day, that calligraphy hangs in a small alcove where I sit in the morning. And that calligraphy says, Mazakatsu Agatsu Kachi Hayabi. This means true victory, self-victory, is victory over time and space. This is Sensei's awakening into the problem of conflict in this world. And it was the seed of his teaching of Aikido, the way to union with Ki of the universe. True victory is self-victory. And this victory is beyond time and space. Beyond time and space means beyond the relative. In other words, it's not a relative victory, it's an absolute victory. When someone doesn't agree with us, because they have a different idea, a different belief, or a different kind of action that we don't agree with. So they're clinging to one idea, we're clinging to another idea. And we have a conflict about this. This is what we call a relative conflict. And this struggle is a relative fight. And if we win the struggle, that's a relative victory, right? So, but we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? In other words, the ultimate truth is that that other person is me, that we are both, infinitely small sparks in the vast, infinite universe of humanity. And when we fight each other to win over them, we are showing ourselves to be willing to throw away our humanity for the sake of a belief or an idea. We're willing to sacrifice that is who we are, essentially, to win something petty and temporary only. Even if our victory lasts 100 years, in the span of time, that is petty and temporary. We just went through the 5 principles of Shinshin Tutsu Aikido, the way to union with my, yeah, so what did we learn? In the 5 principles of Shinshin Tutsu Aikido, mind, body, unified Aikido. Yeah, we learned that without, there can be no victory for everyone. There can be no resolution of conflict without us treating the other person with respect and dignity. Or in other words, we always treat the other person like we would like to be treated. Sounds familiar, huh? It's pretty simple. It's been taught for thousands of years, but we still don't quite get it. We still are at the snap of an emotional response. We are quick to sacrifice that for the sake of what? Of our own selfish clinging to some idea, some belief, some structure, some form. Whether it's a country or a school of Aikido, or a family, or a race, or a religion, or just some kind of idea about how to do something. So in our practice, we are often very petty creatures this way. But in our deep-seated heart and mind, we all want to honor and be honored in this way that our great teachers, O Sensei and Tohei Sensei and Suzuki Sensei, honored and taught us. The spirit of non-dissension. All right, let's do some. Keep breathing. After sitting like this together for 45 minutes, maybe we notice how easy it is to have compassion and a deep understanding of the humanity in everyone. That's because we're so calm. And all our petty interests fall away. Once again, the key to everything is awareness, paying attention. And we cannot become calm to pay attention. We have to pay attention to become calm. Calmness is a side effect or result of the degree of our attention. So the degree to which we are aware and include all possibilities in our awareness. That's the degree to which we are calm and so able to, more likely to, have compassion and respect and offer dignity. But doesn't even have to have a rational explanation. It's because we feel it because we know, in our bodies, we know that this is what we love and this is what we honor. I don't know, maybe you have some question about how this works in your life, or a comment about this spirit of non-dissension. Please say something.
Good morning, Sensei. This is Fincher.
Good morning, Venture.
I'm wondering if you could comment on the sense of adventure that this brings to us. Um, when we let go of our own importance and allow all possibilities, like you were speaking to.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Venture. Venture always comes up with interesting questions. Yeah, we normally think of celebrating our sense of adventure having very much to do with the competition with other people, climbing a mountain, winning a race, getting that job, even having a better understanding of something. The adventure, both whether it's intellectual or physical or emotional, is all about us and our struggle to survive and to win over the difficulties, not necessarily other people, but the challenges of this life. But that's a very relative, let's not say petty, but relative way of seeing adventure. The true adventure to me, and for anyone who's practiced for very long, has discovered that therein lies the true adventure. That what O Sensei is talking about, true victory, self-victory, victory that transcends time and space concerns, the victory to be true to the deepest, eternal or infinite part of ourselves, our very foundation. That's the real adventure that has possibilities that we cannot even imagine. And I think that we are here, we are humans on Earth to get joining together, having this kind of discussions about, how to do that or how to be true to ourselves. And we naturally bring, out of our questions and our concerns, all come out of the competition offered to us by these attractive, shiny things that we're surrounded by. And yet, again, when we sit together just for a few minutes, less than an hour, it completely transforms our sense of ourselves, in the bigger picture. And I think, to me, always regenerates the adventure of being true to myself and how much I value that over everything else, over all those shiny things.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you. Someone else.
Good morning, Sensei.
Good morning, Carlos.
Yeah, we often think of death and dying as something negative. But in relation to this saying, I'm reminded of something that Krishnamurti used to say, that we have to die to every moment. And, it seems like that's related to this idea of victory over self, victory over time, victory over space. So I was wondering if you could say something about that.
Yeah, in addition, and I think the Christian Bible says we must die to be born again. And I think this is addressing the same thing. Of course, every minute, how we spend every minute involves sacrifice, spending our attention. That's our currency that we have. The one choice, the one thing that we have to use is where we put our attention. And when we turn away from our temporary survival, our temporary winning, our temporary glory, our temporary, our own temporary dignity, when we try to preserve that and just spend all of our attention on that, we're living because we're afraid we're going to die. But instead, we fall into this deep, deep, infinite space, which is empty of any concerns whatsoever. The adventure I was talking about, of course, is the remaining in this, which we almost can't do intentionally. I mean, of course, how we use our attention is intentional, but it's so obscure and so indefinable and so unattainable that it's almost like, in my experience of it, is like this sacrifice I'm talking about in every moment, this dying to be reborn, is like falling backwards off a cliff. You don't get to look and see if there's even a bottom. You just dive. And I say backwards off a cliff because it's so disorienting. It seems so obscure and really occluded that you're diving into a mist. You're diving into something completely unknown. And yet, how it is we know to do that. We're born knowing this. And this sacrifice is so inbred in us. And we're constantly imitating it in daily life, aren't we? I mean, that's the drama. That's why we think competition and winning is so important. That's why Fincher brings up the adventure of, these two adventures. The adventure of daily life is like a story, a picture. And in that picture we die. But in that picture we die and that's it. But in reality, we die in the moment. And that's everything. Yeah. Thank you for the question. In talking about something like this, I don't know if Yeah, I was going to say, well, I don't know what that means to everybody, but it's not something you can, it's not a conceptual place to arrive, you know. It's a feeling. You have to feel it. We have to feel it in the deepest, I don't know how other way to put it in with these words, the deepest, you know, recesses of our infinite mind. We have to go deeply. And of course we're going, like I just said, where we can't see ahead of time. We never get to see ahead of time. Just like when you die physically, you don't know what's going to happen after. So anyone who says they do know has to have been there first. Thank you. Would anyone else like to say something or ask anything? Please speak up. Don't be shy.
Good morning. Good morning, Sensei. It's Phoenix.
Good morning, Phoenix.
I think what struck me most in what you said today is just about that attention. And I'm thinking particularly about when I am in, you know, when I have an opinion about something, so to speak. And how that, just having that sort of clouds my mind, right? Because that's all I'm thinking about is sort of building my case, so to speak. But it's exactly those moments that paying attention to what is happening is so essential. And it's also so, I don't know, somehow just in you saying it, it made it so much more obvious to me that that's the choice. Sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't, but now, I don't know, it just reached me in a different way.
Yeah, well, thank you. We can't always control, of course, these kind of things, but noticing is the key. This awareness, this choice of being aware instead of being occluded. You know, we can notice when we're plotting our success. We notice that we're doing that. We don't have to do anything about it. We just have to notice it again and again and again. And then the nature of that struggle changes all by itself. So that we are playing the long game here, you know. Yes, we don't know when we're going to die. But on the other hand, we cannot be impatient. We have to notice and allow the dignity, allow ourselves to have the dignity of change. You know, this is what we don't want to give other people. And we don't want to give other people because we don't want to give ourselves this dignity. We don't take this time, as you all have, coming here this morning. So thank you very much. And domo arigatou gozaimasu. See you next time. Bye-bye.